Last night I went to see Up Your Legs Forever at the Bell Jar. It's the new John and Yoko film in which they move the camera from the floor up John Lennon's legs and then up Yoko Ono's legs, each time stopping before they reach the top. Then they film up John Lennon's legs and then up Yoko Ono's legs. And then they film up John Lennon's legs and then up Yoko Ono's legs. And then they film up John Lennon's legs and then up Yoko Ono's legs. And after about 15 minutes I realised that this was going to be happening repeatedly. The film was about an hour long, which gave me plenty of time to think about my filmmaking career. It's not that being a cigarette girl comes without its bohemian merits, but I want to make a living off my art ever so. Sometimes I get footage on the news. For instance, I was filming my friends and I at the Windsor Free Festival last summer and the BBC paid me for it. They were doing a section on youth immorality, and that's the kind of thing where I could make a regular income, possibly. But the thing I really want to be like is John and Yoko, and have my own installations and have the audience immersed, bombasted by the big screen. That's part of why I decided to start filming myself, so that I can one day impart myself onto other people. I can just imagine what kinds of august intellectuals will one day, in 40 or 50 years, be interested in my thoughts, in the things that I see in my life as an avant-garde filmmaker of my time. I'll tell you what I saw today. At about 1 AM this morning, Jeremy called me behind the bar and said, "Joyce, don't look now. You see over there? That man's got a price hanging over his head. He's the man who shopped the Cray twins." It made me feel strange, seeing someone walking dead like that, going on about his business, going to nightclubs, and yet at the same time he's waiting for the axe to fall. It was alright, actually. Sometimes the criminals treat you fine and it's the big businessmen who get all handsy. Tristan says we make enough off his royalties that I don't have to work at Nancy's, but I wouldn't want to just be sitting around here waiting for him to give me my pocket money. He's a very, very talented actor, and he has had bit parts in Ealing comedies, and he's been the subject of albums and art films, and he's usually in a small theatre production at any given time. One time he partied with Nico from Velvet Underground until security found him. He knows Peter Cushing. This is part of why I need to boost my film career and keep working at Nancy's, because if I didn't, my world would shrink to the size of the house. I would be left keeping house for Tristan while his career skyrockets. I'd become another of the invisible women that populate history with their stories untold. Tristan had a meeting with his agent today, and when he got back he said he'd got a job in a simulation of an IRA attack which would be used to train paramedics. The thing I find most taxing in acting, he says, is screaming on cue. Screams are by definition spontaneous, and it's very difficult screaming knowing that you're going to do it. I said perhaps you could get killed in the blast. He said, "Joyce, the IRA are not precise in their application of terror. They are sloppy, they leave far more living victims than they do dead ones." I said, "You're making life hard for yourself." He said, "I need to get noticed. This is relatively easy money, I need to try and get asked back." I am worried that he will get typecast as a terrorist because he's ginger. He's already told me not to go around telling people that Mum's Irish. I wasn't working tonight, so we stayed in and talked artistic ideas. One thing Trish said was, the life of Jesus in the modern day. He's killed by MI5 with electrocution, the disciples are all minors. I said no, but I had to think about it. He said, Medea, but it's media. It's a film. I said yes, but the concept needed to be bolstered to justify the pun. Her downfall had to come from the media. I suggested institutionalised racism in the news. The media could work people up into a frenzy about there being a, whatever she is she Greek? More in their town. The next pitch was X-rated Mary Poppins with a Hammer Studios vibe. I said no, that had no artistic validity. And finally, Alice in Wonderland, but it's a mushroom trip. It's like dark. I said, I thought that sounded very deep and original, and I was sure no one else would think of it. He seemed quietly pleased. I have no idea what these pictures were for, whether he was saying we should make them, or he was vetting plays to audition for, or just expressing the zeitgeist. I told him my idea about the sentient linen, and he said it was very good, if perhaps a little expensive to get the special effects. I've decided to write to George Harrison to ask for the money. I think he'll be very interested. He is a man of exquisite taste and artistic devotion. He hasn't responded to my first 2 letters, but of course the postal workers are always on strike these days. The bin men are on strike too. There are bin bags piling up in the street where the kids play. My incense bill has shot up lately. I want to be on the side of the proletariat, but there are rats everywhere. Tristan? Tristan?